Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blast off.
Your fortress of solitude.
Greetings, program.
Glad you're alive.
Your sanctum sanctorum.
Resistance is futile.
Welcome.
This your first triumph. This is where the fun begins.
Proof positive that geeks have inherited the earth.
It's showtime.
It's time to get your geek on
You complete me.
with Dave Gramillion.
Welcome to Get Your Geek On. I am Dave Gramillion, and this is the premier talk radio show for Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 930 AM The Answer Talk Radio and 930amtheanswer.com. This is Season 2, Episode number 42, which means this will be the show about life, the universe, and everything. And if you got that reference, you are a friend of the show.
It's also episode 94.
Is it really? 90, 94, 52, 42? Yeah, oh, hey, how about that?
I can do math.
Very good. You can do the maths. Tonight we're gonna have
smart.
Tonight we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. But I want to get to some news as well. We have show news to get to. We have Marvel news we want to get to, including the Deadpool animated series is officially dead, and it is not pretty about what happened. A lot of blame to go around on this one. We'll talk about that. The Silver Surfer is rumored to appear in Infinity War, and we're going to talk about whether or not that's going to be a thing. Also, can't forget about our Geeky March Madness tournament. We are down to the Elite Eight. We have decided who is moving on to the Final Four. We'll talk about that here coming up before the bottom of the hour news break. Then, of course, the break, and then video game news. We haven't talked esports in a while, so we're talking about Overwatch League being in the books for its Stage 2. How successful has the Overwatch League been so far? The answer may surprise you. And then finally, instead of our little discussion topic that we do toward the end of the show, we're going to have a little more fun with this, and we're going to put in a segment called You Be the Judge. We're going to take a topic. Two of us are going to get into a, let's just call it a bit of a debate, a heated discussion.
Let's call it what it is. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight.
Well, it's just going to be two hits, really. Me hitting you and you hitting the floor. And then we're going to put a poll up on Facebook, facebook.com/GYGO radio, and you get to decide who is right and why Goose is wrong. The topic of discussion is going to be Star Trek Insurrection, and is it a good movie or not?
Yes.
Goose thinks it's a work of art. I say it's hot garbage, and we're going to try to meet somewhere in the middle and see who is right, who is wrong, and let you decide on the poll at facebook.com/GYGO radio. Let me go and introduce my motley crew here with me tonight. On my left, your right, as you look across the radio dial, you will see the minion himself, the Grand Poobah of the Star Wars Society of San Antonio. He is Peter Gonzalez.
Hey, we're getting ready for Fiesta, aren't we?
I'm sorry, what?
We're getting ready for Fiesta because I can hear people out there cheering.
Yeah. Oh,
There
we're
you go.
gearing up. Final Four is in town.
Final
Fiesta's
Four.
around the corner.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a lot of
I'm
fun.
hyped up, and we could finally start putting. Well, then again, this is San Antonio. It's bipolar weather here, so.
Yeah, it was like 50 degrees this morning, and it
And
got
now
up into the 80s.
Now we're in
and-
shorts.
Yeah, that's about right.
bipolar weather.
That's standard
Texas.
spring.
Yeah.
If you look further to my left, your right, across the radio dial, you will see the man spinning the ones and zeros. Our sound prognosticator, he is Goose.
Make it so.
Goose, how you doing?
I'll be doing really good here towards the end of the show when I just mop the floor with you.
Yeah,
this is
no,
the
no.
trash talking has begun.
Before we get into the news, though, let me tell you really quickly about a giveaway going on over at the Daily Geek. They have put together a Droid Bundle giveaway, and the package includes a signed Star Wars exclusive print signed by Lucasfilm artist Joe Caroni and Brian Miller. This is an artist proof edition print, which means it's numbered. There's only 250 copies of it available. You will also get an R2-D2 Funko Pop, the number 31, and the number 13 C3PO Funko Pop. And all you got to do to enter to win is like the post, like the page, and then comment with your favorite Star Wars character. And that's it. That's all there is to it. It's going to run through April the 8th, so you got plenty of time to get over there. Like the page, like our page. Give little Joe Caroni some love. He's a great artist. You're going to love the print. And then just comment with your favorite character, and you are good to go. Next Monday, so that's just almost around the corner, 2 days from now, I will be in the studios of the CW 35 here in San Antonio, appearing as a guest of the Comic Book Crew, which means I suppose at some point I should pick up a comic book. At some point, I'll think of something. Hey, they're still making them. How about that? The Fury of General Lane, Superman Action Comic number 999.
That's the last regular issue that Dan Jurgens is writing.
Wow.
There's a special coming out in May, but that's the last regularly counted issue.
Oh, okay. So this is a Superman one. So is this the one where he and Wolverine get together and fight? No, he and Professor X.
Don't look at me, Goose. He's your friend.
No. Hold on. No, I got this.
You see this little button?
Thor, hidden Thor.
You see this button right here?
I see the button. I see the button.
He's pushing yours right now, Goose.
So I will be appearing there. You can see me on their Facebook page because it'll be broadcast on Facebook Live. Look for the CW35 San Antonio at noon on Monday.
12:30.
12:30.
12:30 Central Time.
12:30 Central Time on Monday. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Next week, we will have a call-in guest. Next Thursday will be, I'm sorry, not Thursday. Hello. Next Saturday, we'll have a call-in guest. Shannon McRandall is Mara Jade. Will be calling in as our esteemed guest. We'll talk, I'm sure, a little bit about the expanded universe. Kind of have to talk about the new movies that have come out, what she's up to, how she's doing, how she's recovering, and really everything going on with her. So we will have Shannon McRandall calling in next week. On the 15th, are you taking notes here? Are you getting a calendar out for all this? On the 15th, which is 2 Sundays after Easter, we are going to be
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're right. Ooh, it's practically here. It's less than an hour away. We will be at Laser Legend for Get Your Game On. They have been a longtime sponsor of us. We love them. They love us right back. And if you want to come game with the three of us, you can. It's really going to be cool. And they have a special going on for that day only. For that day only, if you show up and you want to come, play games with us, you get a buy one, get one free on laser tag or miniature golf. Meaning, it's not just exclusive to that. If you want to do a game of laser tag, and you want the golf for free, done. You want the golf, but you want to play laser tag for free, done. You want 2 games of laser tag or miniature golf, done, no problem. But you only pay for one, and it's only on the 15th, courtesy of Laser Legend and us. Get your geek on. That'll be from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Starting at 4:30, we're going to have a best costume. That'll get you 2 free games of laser tag for you and 3 of your friends on your next visit. There's no first, second, or third. It's winner take all. So bring your best costume, bring your best cosplay, bring it on, because you and 3 of your friends will get 2 free games of laser tag on your next visit. 5 o'clock, best score on Star Wars Battle Pod will get you a free $20 play card on your next visit. $20, and all you have to do is just play Star Wars Battle Pod. Whoever has the highest individual score wins. 5:30 is the best score in a free-for-all game of laser tag in which I will participate. I assume Minion, Goose, y'all want in on this?
Do I want a chance to point a thing at you and shoot it? Yes.
It's called a gun. It's okay. You can say that here. This is your safe space.
It's a blaster.
It's okay.
It's a phaser.
Yes.
Exactly. Minion, you want in on this?
I should be able to. If I may be in costume. I'm sorry, but the thing is,
Well, in that case, you have to shoot first.
yeah. But
Hey-o.
but unless I'm being Captain America, I can deflect these blasts. So.
Best score on a free-for-all game of laser tag will get you 1 hour of unlimited gameplay on your next visit.
Ooh.
An entire hour on them. No questions asked. You are good to go for that entire hour. So, bunch of different prizes we're giving away Sunday, April 15th, 4 to 6 o'clock at Laser Legend. Hope y'all will come out and come game with us. I think that pretty much covers all the news that's fit to print here, unless I missed something. But my notes
You know
say
what we
that
should
we're
do?
good.
We should
What's
put an event up on the Facebook page.
I think we should. I think we will absolutely do that. And so you can keep an eye on that, and you can get your little reminder on. So with that being said, we got some Marvel news we're going to talk about here, shall we?
Cue it.
This is that sequel to the smash hit with no equal. This one's for the true fans with Hulk hands and action figures. Flying, dying,
Outstanding. Love it. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of love for the Deadpool animated series. It is officially dead. FX has confirmed that on last Saturday and noted that it will remain in business with Marvel TV on the Noah Hawley drama called Legion, which will return for its second season on April 2nd. I actually caught a trailer for that in one of the 20... I spent 20 minutes before Ready Player One came on, 20 minutes of trailers and commercials, and that was one of them.
Okay. One question about the Deadpool. Was this supposed to be kid-friendly, or was this going to be more adult?
It was supposed to be more adult from what I hear.
Uh-huh.
And apparently that just didn't pan out
It's on
whatsoever.
FX. What does that tell you?
Okay, I was just about to say.
Now,
Just to
according,
clarify.
according to FX's press release, they said, quote, due to creative differences, FX, Donald Glover, Stephen Glover, and Marvel Television have agreed to part ways on Marvel's Deadpool animated series. FX is no longer involved in the project. Now, a lot of speculation came out that it was because Donald Glover was just too busy. He just couldn't focus on it. In addition to Atlanta, he also co-stars in the upcoming Solo, a Star Wars movie film, which opens in May. He also provides the voice of Simba in Disney's upcoming Lion King live-action feature, now in production. And last year, he was also in Spider-Man Homecoming. So he's a busy, busy guy.
Yeah, the funny thing about Glover, because everybody, as much as everybody, there's been a lot of controversy over Solo, everybody's looking forward to seeing his performance because he is Lando.
He looks a lot like him. Brings that style and panache.
That's because nobody's looking forward to the guy who's playing Han.
That too.
They got to find something to look forward to.
Yeah,
And,
true. And, they're going to play over some Colt 45.
You know, and nobody has said anything about Emilia Clarke's role.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything at all about her. And it's Emilia Clarke. I mean, she's the Khaleesi, Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But instead, everyone's talking about Donald Glover. So,
He
however,
he may actually steal that movie.
we'll see. Which, considering Han Solo's reputation, that's saying something.
That's true. So.
Now, Donald Glover actually responded via Twitter and The Hollywood Reporter, and he said, quote, for the record, I was not too busy to work on Deadpool. And then he tweeted out 15 pages of a script he had already completed.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls. She's like Robin to my Batman, except she's old and black and blind. And I think she's in love with me.
15 pages tweeted out of that script. So Donald Glover not happy about this whatsoever. I want to know what really happened. I want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's,
So it's like Marvel got its own Zack Snyder story going on.
well, over one show, it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe FX didn't like the direction it was going. Maybe Marvel didn't like the direction it was going. I don't know.
Kind of like that Zack Snyder with DC
A
thing.
little bit.
They couldn't pay Deadpool with enough chimichangas.
But, I mean, what would cause, considering how popular Deadpool is, Minion,
Yeah.
what do you think would have caused them to just not pass the project on to somebody else, but they've killed it entirely?
It could have been a lot of different things. Maybe saying the Zack Snyder route. Maybe they didn't understand the character. Maybe it was going to get too dark. Because there is humor, although weird and dark and twisted. Maybe they weren't getting that with Deadpool. I mean, you have to do Deadpool just right.
Maybe they didn't celebrate International Women's Day.
Maybe that too.
That could be for that dark
Or
humor
they just
there.
weren't doing anything on Taco Tuesday, for all we know.
That could be.
No, and maybe they couldn't get sponsorship from Taco Donna.
That would be a crying shame.
That would be a
That
crying
really
shame.
would. Goose, what do you think? I mean, 'cause what really stumps me is that they could have said, you know what, we're taking it away from Donald Glover and we're giving it to, I don't know, the guys who were doing the Han Solo movie before they got fired or something like that. But instead, they just canned the whole project.
Well, I think the Glovers are intricately involved, like executive producers type stuff. So they probably couldn't do the show without them because I think Donald was the voice of Deadpool in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Was he?
I think
Really?
so. Don't quote me on that yet. That's just a hypothesis. But if they're executive producers, if they're very much intertwined with the production where it couldn't really go on without them, and either Fox or Marvel didn't like them, bye-bye.
That's true. And although Glover did tweet out 15 pages of a script, that's 15 pages of one script of one episode for an entire for a season. I mean, how much was really done? Maybe he just said, "Look at all the work I've done." They're like, "Great, where's the rest of it?"
Well, apparently it had like fourth wall breaks galore, and it was for the season finale.
Well, which would have been exciting for sure. It's just very odd that they would trash the entire project. I don't. Again,
it's just a matter of the intricacy in which the Glovers were involved and where the differences lied. Because if Glover and Marvel had issues, it wasn't going anywhere.
That's true. Now, speaking of Deadpool, Minion, you dug this up.
Yeah.
Didn't you? This next little bit of news?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds was called out by Gal Gadot on her Instagram. Gadot. Okay, and her Twitter for stealing her signature crossed arms pose.
Now, in the trailer, right, when he's talking about how they're going to be called the X-Force, and he gets called out for being derivative, he's like, yes, it is. I don't really care. So he crosses his arms in what is the signature Wonder Woman pose done by Gal Gadot.
And she posted, "Dude stole my look."
Which, yeah, you have to wonder if that was intentional. I got to figure.
I think it was a coincidence.
I think it is too, because it's X-Force, and he's doing the whole X thing. I don't think he was doing a Wonder Woman thing.
And we'll find out in the movie.
And he responds that imitation is the most sincere form of larceny.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to see where Ryan Reynolds' end and Deadpool begins, or vice versa.
From what I heard when they were shooting this, they had to cut out so many Green Lantern jokes.
Oh.
So, like, there were supposed to be like 8 or 9 different Green Lantern jokes in there, and they left, I think, only 2 in their total. Like, one was just a reference, and one, of course, was the, don't make me animated or green.
Right.
That.
Oh, that's from the first one. I thought you meant for the sequel.
No, yeah, just for the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it really is. Ryan Reynolds really is Deadpool.
Oh, why not?
I mean, it's the perfect match. If you ever watch Van Wilder, did you ever see that one with him and Tara Reid?
Did you ever see Two Guys Are Growing a Pizza Place?
I did not.
Yeah, that's a show that he was on. It was kind of his, almost, I would say that was his big break almost, after he got out of Canada.
Okay, all right.
Oh, Canada.
Wasn't it? What about Waiting? He was in that movie Waiting. That was very Ryan Reynolds-ish.
Well, I have to tell you that when it comes to waiting, I'm still waiting.
Hey-oh. Now, if you watch Van Wilder, Ryan Reynolds is like a 7-year college student, and he has made a career out of being a college student.
Hey, that's the story of my life.
He has no interest in it. He like runs the college, basically, everything that goes on out there. And his character is very, very Deadpool. He is essentially Deadpool without the costume in there.
Deadpool goes to college.
Well, and that's about what it is. Very good. I like that. And anybody in our audience, if you've ever watched Van Wilder, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, yeah, that's right. And if you haven't watched it, hold your nose while you do, because it's got Tara Reid in it. I mean, she's an investigative reporter for the student newspaper.
Was this before or after she became an alcoholic?
This might have helped contribute to that.
Pushed her over the edge.
Like a Food Fight did for Charlie Sheen. This may have done it for her. So it's worth a watch once, if for no other reason than just to see him be Van Wilder. You cannot watch him without thinking about Deadpool the entire time. It is impossible to do. Now, kind of switching gears here a little bit, we need to talk about the Infinity War movie. We're starting to really build the hype now. They've released posters, trailers. Everybody's talking about this movie. And there's a little bit of key evidence here as to whether or not the Silver Surfer will be one of the 76 Marvel characters that will appear. This comes out of comicbook.com. The footage released from the Infinity War trailer so far includes a shot of Doctor Strange and his buddy Wong looking down on Bruce Banner after he apparently crashed through the roof window of the Sanctum Sanctorum. In the comics, the Silver Surfer falls to Earth after an encounter with Thanos, and he found out that the Mad Titan has acquired all 6 Infinity Gems in the comics. Now they're Infinity Stones in the movie, and plans to wipe out half the universe. So the big question is, did they replace the Silver Surfer with the Hulk in that role, or is the Silver Surfer going to crash with the Hulk in that role?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because last time we saw the Silver Surfer was in a Fox movie.
That's true, but they could always cut a licensing deal with Fox.
Yeah, not for the Surfer.
Yeah, but we would have heard about it by now.
What do we have?
Well, I'm pretty sure.
No, not with the Surfer because he's not that big a deal. Not in the cinematic worlds anyway.
Well,
Not-
he
not the
didn't get that
cinematic
far in our March Madness tournament either. But
All right, so if there is no Silver Surfer, who would we want to see in the movie as far as these 76 characters? I mean, we already know obviously who's going to be in it: Captain America, Black Widow, Thor, Thanos, all that. But as far as like a secondary character, one of like the 53rd or 54th character, who would we want to see? I'm leaning toward Phil Coulson coming back with Nick Fury in tow.
Phil Coulson has been confirmed to be in the Captain Marvel movie.
He is in the Captain Marvel movie, but I think it'd be a great catalyst to bring the Avengers together because they haven't seen Phil since he died in the first Avengers movie way back in 2012.
And then he went to Tahiti.
It's a
It's a magical place.
right.
So I think it'd be a huge pick me up, and you know the fans would applaud like crazy as soon as he came on screen.
Well,
he
my
would.
guess, I would like to see Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Punisher. Never mind Iron Fist. That's my pick. who
Well,
I'd
no,
like
you,
to
you,
see.
you get one. You get one. Who's it going to be?
Well, hey, you picked Phil with Nick, so I can get two.
Well,
Well, no, we know that Nick Fury will probably be there
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'll say, gosh, if we're gonna,
because this is the reunion movie.
I say maybe, gosh, between, okay, Punisher.
Punisher coming back
Yeah,
in.
you need some
Punisher?
hardware.
He's plenty of that to go around in this movie for sure. Goose, who would your character be?
Well, it's not so much come back. I would like to see Richard Rider show up, the Earth Nova.
Ooh, a completely brand new, not even hinted at character.
It's not going to happen, but that's what I'd like.
Well, fair enough. I mean, that's okay. We may not see Phil Coulson either, so I'm okay with
Oh,
that.
I'm okay with seeing Phil Coulson on Friday nights.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see Phil Coulson back in the movie.
Yeah.
That'd be.
But in the
I'd love
meantime,
it.
Friday nights, Agents of Shield.
So here's the question then: is Captain Marvel going to be in this movie? Marvel has vehemently denied it.
I think that's a red herring.
You think so?
I think so.
Would Marvel lie to us?
Yeah.
No. Say it ain't so.
It's not so.
I think she is. I think they're keeping it very, 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 very quiet. I think that's going to be a huge twist.
Yeah.
I think Captain
We
America
shall
could go
see.
down, and Captain Marvel would
We
rise.
find out at the end of the month.
Okay, so here's the theory: if Captain Marvel does go down in this movie, Bucky or the Falcon?
You mean Captain America goes down?
Yeah, yes. Captain America goes down in this movie. Do you think it's Bucky or the Falcon who picks it up?
Bucky.
I say Falcon.
I mean, no hesitation on my part. I think Bucky is the one to pick up the mantle and go with it because we haven't heard about Sebastian Shaw's contract being extended just yet.
Sebastian Stan.
So,
no,
Sebastian
because he has to
Stan,
go do Luke a Star Wars story.
sorry. Oh, God, no.
Adventures in moisture farming.
Luke, a Star Wars movie. The search for more power converters.
Oh Lord.
Now, Sebastian Stan, I haven't heard much about his contract being extended or not, and I'm really curious to see what will happen there. I think it'd be nice to see him pick up the mantle and pick up where Captain America left off.
I know it's hinted at, but I kind of like Falcon in the role
And why is that?
because he was in the comic for quite some time.
So was Bucky.
But he was there recently.
So was Bucky.
Okay, all right, never mind the Star Trek debate here. We're going to talk
Captain America.
Captain America.
You have to admit, it would be an interesting twist.
To have Falcon be Cap first over Bucky?
And you have to also admit there is a bit of a social justice warrior slant there.
Maybe,
Yeah,
possibly.
And
possibly.
Marvel has kind of been going that way in the comics, haven't they?
Yes, and then they've corrected course.
We hope anyway.
Mostly.
Right? Mostly. I don't know. That's
No, what they
to
did
say.
was they made Steve Rogers a Nazi.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was a wrong.
That was
move.
awful.
And then they fixed it.
Yeah, then they redeemed themselves.
It's like watching Superman pop, kryptonite like it's candy and go, yeah, it really hasn't been hurting me the whole time. No, I'm totally cool. I mean, you don't. There's certain things you don't do. Superman high-fiving Lex Luthor and saying, "All right, let's do this. You and me taking over the world." Okay, we've taken over the world. Now what? I mean,
Oh,
you don't
goodness.
you don't make Steve Rogers a Nazi. How
No.
does,
That's just
no.
wrong on every level.
Every single level.
Considering that his creators were both Jewish.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yes, indeed. Taking a quick look back at Black Panther. Black Panther has officially become the 5th highest grossing movie of all time domestically in the United
Wow.
States.
wow.
of all time of any movie, any genre, anytime, anywhere, any place in the United States. It's incredible. It is currently sitting at $637 million domestically, $1.24 billion worldwide.
I think that beat Blade 2, and Blade Trinity combined.
I think it beats so many.
Oh, what kind of nonsense is that, Goose? Come on.
Oh, Lord. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, that is truly impressive. By the way, can y'all name the other 4 domestic movies that have been the highest grossing?
The Force Awakens?
Yeah, that's
Avatar?
That's number 1. That's number 2.
Star Wars?
Nope.
No. Avengers Infinity. Oh, the Avengers.
Titanic and then Jurassic World.
Oh, man.
We're going to tank that one. So.
All right, coming up, we got the bottom of the hour news break hitting us right in the face. So we'll be right back here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer and 930amtheanswer.com.
Hey, this here's Mr. Satan, and get your geek on with Dave Grillum on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Oh, and I brought my friend here.
Majin Buu!
Guys, be careful. He might turn you into chocolate.
Yeah, you better listen or I'll do it!
Run! We're all gonna die!
Alrighty, welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio. I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of the show, we broke down a lot of news that we had. Not just Marvel news, including the now defunct Deadpool animated series, not just what's going on with Donald Glover, not just Ryan Reynolds poking a little fun at Gal Gadot, perhaps, not just Silver Surfer's appearance in Infinity War, maybe, but also we have a lot of news ourselves, including a giveaway over at the Daily Geek. I'll be appearing on the comic book crew for the CW35 on Monday at 12:30 Central. We have a guest next week that'll call in, Shannon McRandall, who is Mara Jade, will be calling in to talk to us. And also our event over at Laser Legend. Let me talk to you about that real quick before we get into our March Madness. Laser Legend is a wonderful place to go. It's really wonderful, and you can enjoy it really anytime that you like, but on the 15th of April, you can come get your game on with us. Goose, Minion, and myself will be there, and if you show up, mark the calendar now because it's 4 to 6 p.m. on Sunday. They're going to have a BOGO offer just for that time, just for Get Your Geek On fans. Buy one game of laser tag, get one free. Buy a game of mini golf, get one free, or they're interchangeable. Buy a laser tag, get a mini golf for free. We're going to have a costume contest. We're going to have a laser tag contest. And unfortunately, I can't win. Well, I mean, I could win. Let's face it, I would win, but I'm not eligible to win. So we'll just take my score, which will be the top score. We're going to take that off, and whoever gets the other high score will get it.
I think you did a little too much LDS.
And we're also going to have a Star Wars Battle Pod contest. The highest individual score will also win from Laser Legends. So we got a lot going on there inside their 4,000 square foot video arcade, their 2-floor laser tag arena, their bar area that has some adult beverages for mom and dad out there, as well as the awesome Photon Torpedo. They have pizza, they have cookies, they have breadsticks. They've got all sorts of things out there over at Laser Legend, a sponsor of Get Your Geek On. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and let's chat up some March Madness. Alrighty, so we are down to the Elite Eight, and we are deciding who's moving on to the Final Four. Now, typically we've done our judging kind of behind the scenes because there's a lot to do, there's a lot to consider for all these characters. We started with 64 and we're down to 8. Starting with the Elite Eight, we are broadcasting our judging onto our exclusive YouTube channel. We will not do it on Facebook like we have in the past. I'll admit we're trying to get you all over to YouTube and check us out over there as well. So you want to mash that subscribe button. You want to make sure the notifications are turned on, and you can watch us do the actual judging including all the bickering and the arguments about who should win and who shouldn't win, right there live. So, in the video game bracket, we have the number 2 seeded Kirby versus number 4 Arthas. This one was an interesting fight. Kirby's been a juggernaut both this year and in last year's tournament. However, he comes up against Arthas, a master of the cold, a master of the ice, which Kirby, if you've ever played any of his games, he does not do well on the ice. This one was still very, very close, but the number 2 seeded Kirby goes down 3-2. Arthas pulls off the upset, and he will move on to the final 4. Then in the Star Wars bracket, we have Yoda versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, another really close fight.
That was interesting considering it's Master and, versus Apprentice. And for that one, should we go into start telling the results?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, for that one, Yoda's the Master and Obi-Wan did not have the high ground, so Yoda goes on to the next round.
Yoda will move on, and that will bring us up to our Marvel bracket. And this is the only one really that was the number 1 versus the number 2. It's the Marvel and the DC. Number 1 seeded Thor takes on number 2 Jean Grey, the ultimate battle of brains versus brawn, and it wasn't really that close. Thor comes away with this one. Now, true, Jean Grey has some very great telekinetic powers, but she just can't take a punch. And once Thor just starts, just wailing on her, whether with the hammer or without, Jean Grey just can't take the punishment. So Thor will move on to the final 4. He is your Marvel champion. And that is to the DC bracket. We had to have a champion come out of this one, and it comes down to an old rivalry, Superman versus Darkseid.
This was intense.
This rivalry more than 40 years in the making.
This was so close. We went back and forth on this one for quite a while as far as who would win. And in the end, it really came down to the fact that Darkseid has never truly beaten Superman. He did brainwash him once, but that's just not enough really in this one. So
who hasn't brainwashed Superman at some point?
Well, I haven't. I know Minion has, but Minion brainwashes us all, so he's just cool like that. So that means Superman will be moving on. He is your DC bracket champion.
So the winner is
Superman.
And we will be arranging that. You can check out your progress on the leaderboard over at getyourgeekon.org. We have a little bit of Star Wars breaking news I want to get into here. You guys know who Pablo Hidalgo is?
Yeah.
Yes, he's the big wig, ain't he?
Yeah,
outside of
he's
Kathleen Kennedy.
like the keeper of the flame, so to speak. What he says
he's
is
that tree on the planet.
So this is breaking news. You gotta get here first.
He pretty much decides what is canon and what isn't canon, that sort of thing. So here we go. Breaking news. He tweeted out on Thursday. He tweeted out that, quote, years of gamification have led some to think that the Force are powers that are unlocked when there's nothing in the films to suggest this. It's instead presented as a state of mind, with the pathway of the light being the sublimation of the self, while the dark, the amplification of it. So apparently you can use any Force power at any time, no problem. You just have to get your mind right.
Okay, I'm going to use my Force powers to go get some taquadana after this.
You can do that.
There we go.
If you want to use Force Lightning, you don't have to actually practice the skill. You just got to wrap your mind around the concept, and off you go. It's very Matrix-like. It's very Matrix-like, because all Neo had to do, he couldn't make the jump in the beginning, right? Because he couldn't wrap his mind around the concept, and once he did, then he could dodge bullets.
I only got one thing to say to that.
And that is?
Whoa.
Pretty much.
No, we got to do more of the Keanu reversion. Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
So that's very interesting how he tweeted that out. So apparently the Force, it's not even really a power. You just have to wrap your mind around any concept. So now it's pretty much like earthbending. If you can think it, you can do it. That's essentially what the Force is now in Star Wars. Very interesting.
And that's from a source that divines it to be so.
Pretty much. I mean, that's, if he says it is, then, well, that's just what it is. Okay, so very interesting little bit of news there. Let's go ahead and talk some video game news here, shall we? right, so stage 2 of the Overwatch League is in the books. Congrats to the New York Excelsior for coming back for a 0-2 deficit to pull off the reverse sweep and win 3-2. They will get a $100,000 bonus for winning. And a lot of people were wondering, so how popular is this esport? Overwatch League is new. It hadn't been around for that long. 2018 is when the regular season kicked off. Well, the playoffs viewership peaked at 216,000 people on the main Overwatch League channel. It's the highest of any single day since the league's opening week. Stage 1 ended with 1.6 million hours being watched.
Wow.
Now, are they on Twitch or YouTube? Or?
They're on Twitch.
On Twitch, okay.
So this is on their Twitch channel. This is the stat that really shocked me. I knew it was big. I knew it was getting there. The peak viewership was just 18,000 below the average viewership for the NHL throughout last season.
Well, and with the NHL, that's estimated. This, because it's on Twitch, is actual.
Right. So we have to, and it's the average, so we have to actually kind of factor all that in. But they're getting close to rivaling the NHL. Now, true, it's hockey. I get it. And our Texas audience is like, whatever, bro. But it is one of the 4 major sports in America. This is getting big. It's getting really big. And now it's been announced that esports will be added as a medal event to the 2022 Asian Games in China.
What?
Now, the Asian Games, I know we're like, what? What is that? What's the Asian Games? It's the second largest multi-sport event after the Olympics. And it is IOC approved and sanctioned. So the IOC will be looking very closely into seeing how esports perform at the Asian Games. We could be seeing something happen in Paris in 2024 for esports.
And the winner of the Overwatch event goes to... And they get a gold medal for playing a video game. An Olympic gold medal for playing a video game.
I thought you were going to say
no,
that.
I was like...
We're kind of like on our...
I'm like going through my notes. I'm like, we have an event? What did I miss here?
And
the
gold medal for playing Overwatch goes to...
Yeah.
South Korea.
Okay,
yeah.
so over here we have
crazy.
a winner of the 100 meters. Here we have the 440 hurdles. Here we have shot put. What did you get, kid? I got a gold medal because I had a pentakill in in League of Legends.
That last headshot really.
Yeah, that was it.
That last headshot did.
I mean, we laugh, but I mean it's.
Can you imagine the
big.
NBC feature?
Oh my God.
Oh no! Somebody sprained a thumb.
Oh my God.
It's a major injury at that point.
How do you train for that? It's like, well, that's a ramen, pizza,
Hot Pockets,
hot pockets,
pizza rolls,
yeah.
Energy drinks.
Oh.
Doritos.
Yeah, lots of Red Bull.
Especially if you're an Overwatch fan, lots of Doritos.
Or
no Doritos though. You get that powder.
Because
stuff
of
on your
because
fingers.
of our friend of the show, Genly Cosplay. There's also NOS.
Yeah, that's true. There's the NOS also. All right, so I want to move into something a little more fun and replace our usual discussion segment with something a little more interesting. And this is called You Be the Judge. We're going to take a topic that the two of us will debate. The third person here will moderate and kind of keep us on track, the best we can. And then we'll put a poll up on our Facebook page, and you get to decide who wins. Who wins the argument? Who was right, and why is Goose wrong? You get to decide.
What if I'm not involved in that particular matchup? Am I still wrong?
Yes, you are.
Lord.
You just always are. That's facebook.com/GYGO radio. You can cast your vote there. And here it is. It's going to be me and Goose going at it. And the topic is Star Trek Insurrection a bad movie?
Yeah. If you see Klingons, better make sure that your face is out. And if you're in the fleet, rep your uniform, cause it's future chic. All the haters know we got photon torpedoes. Throw the Vulcan up if you're not from Romulus, and stay with me now, live long and prosperous.
Just baby, I'm Scott,
There we go. Yes, so here we go. Is Star Trek Insurrection a bad movie? Dave says yes. Goose says no. Okay, so that being said here, Goose, you're gonna go make your point for the movie, and to avoid nitpicking. And yes, y'all can chime in on this as well. And just like David Letterman used to say, no wagering.
Okay,
so
well,
go ahead, Goose. Go ahead and start.
First of all, it came out in 1998. It was the first CGI Star Trek movie. Of course, in this one, yes, every Star Trek movie focused a lot on Picard and Data. But in this particular case, we also got to see what we've wanted to see for 11 years. That's the coming back together of William Riker and Deanna Troi. Of course, Worf was back on the ship, so we got the entire Next Gen cast, sans Wesley Crusher, because really, why? Why would we need him? That was also, the Briar Patch was a great special effect. We got to see Jonathan Frakes sans beard for the first time since season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation, unless you count the flashbacks in Shades of Grey from season 2, which we actually don't. So that was nice as well. No ship got blown up, really. No ship got destroyed. And, all in all, that is a very good moral story about a forced relocation of a population. Star Trek is good at, very good at telling morality tales, much better than Star Wars, to be quite honest with you.
Hey.
And this one was a great allegory.
Mr. Moderator, I hope you're noticing the cheap shot there.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a second here.
But we got to see more than just Picard and Data, and we got to see a little bit more Geordi. We got to see Geordi with without prosthetics for the first time.
Okay, we got to start wrapping this up.
So
you're supposed to be making 1 point here. Come on now.
Well, I'm just talking about how he said talk about how good it is and what makes it great.
Alrighty. Okay, now that being said, up over here, across the board up over here, let's see what Dave has to say.
Okay, so here's my rebuttal to your points there. First, it's
There we go.
It's the 90s. I mean, that right there, that's a strike against it. That's not in favor of it. The special effects that you talked about, yeah, that's on par with like Babylon 5. I mean, seriously, I think I've seen better.
That was better than Babylon 5.
Wait. He's got the floor.
I think I've seen better special effects on an episode of Sequest DSV. Yes, I just went there. As far as Worf being on the ship, you notice there's no reason for him to be there other than they keep trying to invent excuses. In First Contact, they brought him on because he was commanding the Defiant with like the B team or something. All right, so he had to be there. Now in Insurrection, he's not only is he there, Picard is surprised to see him. You don't know what officers are coming on board. He's like, "Oh my God, Worf is here," for no apparent reason. And then you brought up Riker, and now oh man, it's so awesome to see him. Yeah, he also used the manual steering column. He used a freaking joystick to steer the Enterprise. I'm like, what are you kidding? That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And finally, my last rebuttal here, the forced relocation of the moral. You remember a certain episode where Picard was ordered to relocate a group of Native Americans, and Wesley, intervened and then got shot down? You notice that Picard in that episode versus Picard in Insurrection are complete opposites. In that episode, Picard is under orders to relocate them, and he does. He's under orders to force them if he has to, and he tries to. But yet, in the movie, he does everything he can, including defying the orders of the Federation Council and the Admiral, to keep this group of indigenous people there that didn't happen to be Native American, and try whatever he could to not relocate them. It's a complete hypocrisy based upon the episode.
Okay, wow. Do I got 10,000?
So can I answer?
Wait, hold on. Wait, before we do, I have a feeling we should just cue up the Star Trek, dun 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 dun, because that's about to get heated here in a second. All right. So, okay, Goose, your point.
So going back to that episode from season 7 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, if you remember, Picard wasn't behind that order completely. He was ordered to do it because of the treaty between the Cardassians and the Federation that actually ended for reals the Cardassian War.
Yes.
The Cardassian War had happened before.
Following orders.
He was following orders because he had to. And Wesley was very much against it and almost convinced Picard to do it. In this case, Picard learned his lesson. And it wasn't that they were upfront about it. It was Starfleet was being less than honorable in how they were doing it. And if it's one thing that Captain Picard is, it is honorable. He will do something he doesn't want to do, but he will tell you about it to your face. He will try to get your buy-in on it versus trying to do it behind your back, which is what the Admiral and the Sona were doing in Star Trek Insurrection. He was actually on the right side for the right reasons, doing the right thing. In the episode that you're talking about, he was doing the wrong thing for the right reasons because it was an order and it was to keep peace in the galaxy.
Okay. That being said, just to kind of, which movies was this one about again?
This one was the Sona and the Baku and the Briar Patch.
Oh, the
one where Data goes crazy.
Which one was that? Okay.
See, can he?
It's between First Contact and Nemesis.
Is that the Fountain of Youth thing?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that one. Okay. Now, Dave, go ahead and say.
Okay. So here's my point against it. I'm only going to make one, other than the hypocrisy of Picard himself, and all the lousy production value that went into this, the physics that didn't add up to any of this whatsoever. Here's my main point: is that Star Trek is all about humanity's journey forward. It is all about improving ourselves, progressing ourselves with technology. And this movie is the complete opposite. It's all about how we should return to our roots. And machinery is bad, except they had a dam and that whole wheel turning thing for the water and the irrigation system. But machinery is bad, technology is bad. We should return to our roots and be who we are. And that is exactly the opposite of what Star Trek is about. They're preaching the wrong message.
I have 10,000 quad links on the newcomer, by the way, on this one. Anyways, okay,
so
go ahead.
I do believe that in that case, either extreme is bad. The overuse of technology as what the Sona were doing versus the underuse of technology, which is what the Baku were doing. In fact, that's how the Sona became the Sona in the first place, is because they rebelled and left the Baku. Picard, the crew of the Enterprise, typically have that balance that we're looking for. Picard doesn't read his books from a pad. He reads actual books, with paper in hand. So Star Trek in that case is not so much teaching that technology as bad as the over dependence on technology and science to unnaturally extend life and unnaturally extend youth. That was bad.
I knew you were going to go there. So I'm going to bring this up. The episode called Family. It's the end of the Borg trilogy.
Yes.
In there, where his brother Rene wants to use. He hates replicators. He hates modern. That's not Rene. That was his nephew. But his brother hates technology. He doesn't want to replicate. He didn't want any of that. But his wife keeps pushing him to do it. Picard keeps pushing him to do it because you have to adapt with the times, and technology helps us move forward as a people. Whereas in this one, they not only preach that we should get back to our roots, but they actively slam technology by saying that when you make a machine to do the work of a man, you take away the man. You take away something from the man, which, by the way, is not only a little misogynist in itself, but it also, it's telling us that we're losing part of our soul through technology, which since the 60s has been at the core of what Star Trek's all about.
But again, that was a Baku. That was the leader of the Baku who said that. And that was their lifestyle because they depended on technology so much in their past that they wanted to get away from that to kind of focus more on themselves. But when you talk about Star Trek, you talk about Starfleet and the Federation. You don't necessarily talk about the guest stars, for lack of a better term. So in this case, the Baku and the Sona were the extremes. Picard was trying to find middle ground, but the Sona weren't having it, and the Baku weren't having it either. But in that case, you just leave the Baku alone. You don't take away their stuff. You don't remove them from their planet because they're not hurting anybody. It's not getting in the way of an alliance of any kind. You just leave them be.
Okay, guys, keep in mind, no nitpicking here, okay?
Well, now's the time for nitpicking.
Okay, well, okay.
All right,
how about it?
Here's one of my nitpicks. I don't understand why Data's there at all. All right, Data. All right, first of all, the whole premise doesn't make any sense because they built the observation platform within easy view of the village. When they did the episode Who Watches the Watchers, it's miles away where nobody could stumble upon it. And what did they beam up the rocks and beam down the base at the same time? Did they beam down bulldozers in the middle? What did they do there? That didn't make any sense. Secondly, Data is the worst person imaginable to be looking after, observing humanity, because every time he's tried before by himself, it's ended in disaster.
That's an interesting point there, Dave.
Yes, and with the beginning of that movie is very much contrived. The Data's there so the Enterprise can go get him.
Ding. Pretty much. That was it.
Yes.
And not only that,
however, we got to hear Worf sing a Gilbert and Sullivan song.
Which brings up another nitpick. The whole part, which, okay, yeah, British stars, that was kind of cool. But at the same time, that scene itself also didn't make a lot of sense. Picard pushes 2 buttons on the console, the song comes up.
Well, maybe he had,
2 buttons.
It was his
iTunes. He had iTunes at this point,
When the ship starts spinning, nobody's wearing a seatbelt, nobody flies out of their seats.
It's artificial gravity.
No.
Well, would they hold
no,
on?
because people hold on because people fly
uh,
across the bridge whenever there's an explosion all the time on Star Trek.
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure they also have to do that little Star Trek shuffle. That's been
Wow,
traditional.
they fly all over the place. That's what they do. It's just not not a good movie. And that's my biggest nitpick, of course, is the presence of Data and him being interjected into all this. Another nitpick that I had, and this was a big one. This is my last big nitpick here is that so Picard agrees to go down by himself at first, right, to go help the Baku, and he brings down 7 tons of yttrium explosives, 48 pulse launchers, whatever those are.
And a
He brings
partridge in a
down
pear tree.
all these weapons to people that are admitted pacifists and hate machines. 7 metric tons of explosives.
Prime directive.
Hey, if you're going to do a job, might as well do it right. And it's not. You're not interfering with the Prime directive, because those people had technology. It wasn't that you were introducing technology to an unadvanced race. They were an advanced race who eschewed technology because of what it did to them as a people. See the Sona for that one.
I just don't know what he was planning to do with 7 metric tons of explosives.
Go big or go home, baby.
Oh,
All
my
right,
God.
that being said here.
Joel Goldsmith did the soundtrack.
All right then. Okay, so so I guess we're kind of wrapping this up over here, and let us know what you all thought. Who has a thing? Who do you think won the argument here? Who had the better debate? And surprisingly, during this whole thing, nobody was chanting Jerry, Jerry, Jerry.
For a final bit of news, we do want to congratulate Linda Carter on getting her much-deserved star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That'll be Tuesday, April 3rd, 11 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 2 p.m. Eastern time. And, of course, everybody knows Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. So that's much deserved. It's about time that she got that, so that's very cool.
And, of course, we'll be news of that.
Alrighty, so that will wrap it up here. If you want to tweet at us, find us at GYGO_radio. Shoot me an email at davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. For Goose, for Minion, and for myself, I want to thank our sponsors, Laser Legend and the Mailing Spots. Thank you for listening. Be excellent to each other, and make sure to get your geek on every single day. Good night, everybody.